Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our offer team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, it's that time of year, kids are going back to school, lots of different things happening. We want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and our kids. The best way to do that, to check in with Fouche Parish Sheriff's Office as we talk to Captain Brendan Mathern. Captain Mathern, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
All right. I know school is getting back rolling. We want to make sure we're keeping the kiddos safe and making sure everybody's thinking on the same lines about what to do. Let's talk about some school safety.
Yeah, well, and first and foremost, we saw today lots of back to school photos. So that's always great to see. Like we mentioned in our recent Facebook post, we like to see a lot less information about your kiddos in the back to school posts. For example, here we have School Resource Officer Tate Tabor showing what we used to see on Facebook, where people would post, the pretty chalkboard style with, what's my favorite color? What do I want to be when I grow up? Look, that's just a lot of information to be putting out there about your kids. What we recommend is the other picture where it simply says the first day of seventh grade or the first day of the grade, not necessarily indicating what school your kids are going to and not indicating any of those other things, which a lot of times you could be used to try to determine what passwords are, like your kids' favorite color or a favorite animal or something like that. Anytime that you can give less personal information, remember less is more, especially when it comes to your kids, Keith. And, that's something significant that we probably don't talk about a whole lot, but, kids don't get a say in this. If you have an elementary school child, you're deciding what they put on there. And while it's fine when they're young and you're a grown-up, what happens when they get older and they decide, I don't want all my information out there? Well, now they've got to go potentially work with you to scrub your social media accounts and all the pictures you post on there. So again, I know that's the tough part about this is, kids can't speak for themselves and will have no idea what's up, 10 years from now. But if you are going to post pictures of your kids online, at least don't post with a ton of information. So that's the first part. And of course, the second part is now that school's back in, that means school buses are back on the road. That means that you can expect car lines, potentially some along the highway, and of course, school zones. So just be cognizant of that when you're traveling on the roadways. Don't speed through those school zones in the morning. You make sure you're slowing down. Make sure you're paying attention for students and teachers, anybody potentially on foot around a school.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it was one of those things. We got a child in our family starting a new grade and a new school, and we were excited about that on Sunday. A new teacher in the family, and she's excited about school. On Monday, I slowed down. Nobody was in school yet, but I was slowing down. It didn't matter. I was making sure, because, the teachers are there. They're trying to get the school ready. Our SROs are there. I know that they're getting everything ready. The resource officers are there. And so it's really important for us to make sure that we're cognizant of that. So all of us, that's all of our responsibility. And I want you to know it's the first thing on my mind, heading to and from wherever I'm going. Slow down for the schools, watch for the kids. It's an exciting time, but we want to make sure we don't have any kids any accidents, any issues around the school zones. That's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. And look, we've lost, unfortunately, a traffic guard, as you know, that has been hit by a car. So it's so important for you to make sure that you're paying attention, that you're going slow. And, you shouldn't be texting and driving at all. But remember that going through school zones is a hands-free zone completely. You can't even be holding your phone at all when you're going through those school zones.
Right. And so speaking of safety, we got to be aware of some of these scams out there. So it's one of those things where we're seeing it kind of everywhere.
Oh yeah, and look, scams, they take on a lot of new forms over the years, but the reality is that they all have the same signs. In the end, it's somebody calling you, more than likely, maybe an email, but more than likely a call, and they're ultimately trying to get you to convince you that they are someone they're not. And they're trying to convince you to send them money that is somewhat untraceable, somewhat unrecoverable, and to the point where you're going to be potentially duped out of hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, unfortunately, as we've seen with some victims. The latest scams that we posted about recently, one has to do with cryptocurrency ATMs. Now, we've been seeing these posted, and I know that there is potential legislation in the works to make these, either make it a lot harder to have these or simply outlaw them in Lafourche Parish. Of course, that's something that's being worked on and not potentially happening as of yet. But be aware that anyone calling you and trying to get you to go to one of these machines probably, in fact, almost guaranteed, does not have your best interest at heart. There is a legitimate enterprise for these cryptocurrency ATMs, but remember, all of that can be done online and through online banking. So there's rarely a need to utilize these things. And what we found in our investigations is these are almost exclusively used by bad characters, trying to scam people out of money. Also, it's not uncommon to get a call saying, hey, you have a warrant for your arrest. You have to call us now, or you have to pay now over the phone, or risk being arrested. Obviously, anybody calling you and threatening arrest if you have a warrant, unless you pay now, is obviously a bad actor trying to get you out of money. But what we've seen recently, Keith, is that they're actually calling people, telling them to go to a local sheriff's office and ask for a specific person and try to make a payment. And obviously, people are following those instructions, going to the office, and when they find that, not only is there not a person there of that name, or they don't have an active warrant, they simply leave, and they either call the caller back, or they call the scammer back, or the scammer calls them back and says, well, hey, wait, they just didn't know about it. You actually just need to just pay it over the phone and we can take care of it here. Trying to make it seem like a convenience for you, when in actuality, they're just trying to scam you out of money.
Wow, some wonderful updates. We want to keep everybody safe from scams and keep the kids safe. Captain Brendan Mathern, we appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, Keith.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. But don't go anywhere. A whole lot more Bayou time when we continue.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.